Welcome in everybody to the TK Pod. My name is Tyler Kluver. I was once a Division I football player. I am now a podcaster, fitness coach, and CrossFit athlete, doing all of that as a husband and father of two. This show is an audio journal, a spot for me to vent or ramble about thoughts I have relating to fitness and health, my personal competitive aspirations, business, entrepreneurship, and more. I hope that each show can provide one small bit of value for you, the listener. Regardless, I'm glad you're here. Let's have a day. Let's go. All right, let's do this thing. Back again for the TK Pod. Excited to be here. Monday, September 29th. Could be a little bit better of a day if the Hawks would have won this weekend. Couldn't pull it out against Indiana, but got to have an incredible experience. Hopefully one that isn't our last, but an incredible experience in in the suite level of Kinnick Stadium. Business relationship through the podcast afforded us the opportunity to have a private 24-person box, cushy seats, windows open, our own kitchen with pre-ordered food that's waiting for us when we got there, a fully stocked fridge, burgers, chicken tenders, wings, pizza. Just an unbelievable way to watch an Iowa football game. And I've been in the box before on the lower level, kind of in a less private spot. Very, very, very fun. But it was not this. This was elite. And it was an unbelievable football game all the way down until the last 2 minutes for the Hawkeye fans. And couldn't pull it out. So is what it is, but life is good. I mean, it was a Monday. Slept okay, maybe a little below average, but last night had a good podcast, kicked off the week of work really good, feeling good, body's feeling good. That might be an underrated part of the exercise portion of today's talk that I might slip in there is how I've been feeling lately and why the training I'm doing and the setup is allowing me to feel pretty good. Something to consider as we continue on with the season. But the game was insane. We got that box for free tickets, free parking, unbelievable. Got to see friends, 2 high school buddies, and a couple college buddies. Don't get to do that very often as a parent anymore. Literally looked at him and was like, "Dude, we don't get to do this unless we schedule some big event where we like plan it months in advance." So, as an adult, it was a great weekend. Didn't have the kids for a day, or most of the day. Which is always when you're with them all the time and you never get time for just you and the wife. It's fun to get away. And another thing that doesn't happen unless you schedule it. So we kind of got to knock out a bunch of birds with one stone. Only thing left would have been the victory, but it's all good. That was sort of what the weekend looked like. It was a weekend that was kicked off by about 18 holes of disc golf, but in a broken up way. Decided Thursday was the day I was going to play last week. After I recorded this last week's podcast on Monday, it came out on Wednesday. Thursday, I went and just played Centennial. Didn't really know where I wanted to go. I didn't have a ton of time when I went and played. So I chose Centennial because I hadn't been out in like 2 weeks at that point, and I wanted to throw the 2 new discs that I bought. About a time lapse, Simon Line time lapse, higher speed driver. I think it's a 12 -1.3, so it's a overstable driver. And I bought a flexi zone, overstable zone, putt and approach / kind of mid range. Wanted to get a feel for those discs, and Centennial is just a really good spot. Obviously, it's like the home course, so I know the lines. I'm able to throw um, and not lose discs, even on holes where you could lose them. I feel comfortable there. There's a decent amount of shot shapes that you can actually throw for a 12-hole park course. That's a half mile away, so we'll take it. And played well. Then went and had lunch, and I'm gonna try and do this more often with the wifey. Again, like I said, unless you schedule the time, unless you make an active decision to pursue your relationships with not just your significant other, but your friends, hell, for your kids, it doesn't just happen. So we're gonna try and do some more lunch, taking her lunch on Fridays, or at least going and eating with her. Did that, and she works downtown Des Moines. So on the way there, there's a couple opportunities to stop by a disc golf course, and there's one in the older West Des Moines neighborhood, Southwoods, that has been recently updated in the last couple years to an 18-hole course. And honestly, I believe after, for those that are familiar with the disc golf scene in Des Moines, you've got Indianola, which is Pickard Park. It's a pro course. That's number one. Then you have Grandview um, and Ewing, which are really really good 18-hole courses. Probably, you could probably hold pro tournaments there. Those 3 are elite. Right after that, I would put Southwoods up there next. That'd probably be my next best course in the Des Moines area. So, um, played the first 4 holes of that. I wasn't planning on it. I ate lunch, started driving home, and was like, "Hey, screw it. I'll stop by and play the front 9." And then it was really hot, and I didn't have the right shoes or the right clothes to play really, so I only played 4 holes, but a fun 4 holes. Like, already a couple shot shapes in those first 4 that you have to throw, a couple really cool tee pads and gaps to hit. So, fun stuff. And disc golf is fun. We're feeling good, and we'll continue to try and play some full courses. I want to get, obviously, to go play the full 18 at Southwoods. Um, Walnut Ridge up in Johnston, closer to Ankeny and Polk City, is probably right behind Southwoods on that list. And then there's a few other courses around the area. I'd like to go up to Ankeny one day. Like to go over to Altoona or Newton one day, and play Pickard one day. So we'll see. Um, still probably got, I mean, even to the end of November, you probably got to the end of November to play. So we've still got like a good 7, 8 weekends, Fridays to go and find some good disc golf before the the real cold season comes. Um, yeah, news of the day, for anybody who's local to Iowa, really news of the weekend. Friday, it broke that ICE picked up the Des Moines superintendent. It was actually while I was eating lunch with my wife that over their communications walkies, it was like, "Hey, the principal's being called to an emergency meeting. Can somebody like handle this situation?" And my wife was like, "Huh, that's interesting. I wonder what that's about." And as I left, um, the news started to break that the superintendent of the Des Moines fucking school system was being detained by ICE. And the initial thought was like, "Oh, was he trying to intervene and stop them?" Because this has been a big concern of a lot of the people in the school district is like, is ICE going to come in and like rip these kids out of school and like just and just take them. And so the initial thought was like, oh, so the superintendent like interfered. He tried to stop them from doing that, whatever, and that's why they detained him. No, it was nothing to do with him and his job. It was the fact that they're trying to deport him. And it came out then later that like he's actually got some really fishy shit going on with his background. Like his education doesn't line up. A lot of the stuff that he has on his resume doesn't line up. Um his date of birth and where he was born and how he grew up and his parent situation, like his mom and dad situation, stuff that he said in the past. There's a ton of contradicting like information and stories out there. And somehow he's made it to the top of a major school district, the biggest one in Iowa, as the superintendent, making over $300,000 a year. And then of course on the other side you have, not to say that I'm on one side or the other, but the other side of that story is you have a ton of people who are like, "We don't believe it. ICE is making this up. They're trying to come after him to make a point, all this stuff." He was found with a gun in his car, which he would take to school properties. He was found with $3,000 cash. Love the people trying to justify that because everybody just travels with 3 grand in cash. Um, there was a deportation warrant out for him like May of last year, like 18 months ago, 16 months ago, of which I guess was he supposed to turn himself in and leave the country on his own doing. How is he working and not expecting ICE to come and eventually get him if he has he has a weapons charge from, like, 2020. He was the superintendent of his school system or something like that out in Maryland for a few years, and then has been the superintendent for the last, like, 18 months or 2 years for Des Moines. It's very confusing how he would ascend to this level of education in public education without being background checked. I have a feeling that this is a just a glaring example of how probably the people in place saw who he was and saw what kind of hire he could be aesthetically for the district, and looked over maybe some of the inconsistencies or potential, at least question marks that they may have in doing a real background check, and not even necessarily their fault, but like, hey, he's been working for 15, 20 years. He was already the superintendent of a school system out east. Stuff seemed to go up fine out there, right? He's like an Olympic runner. He overstayed a student visa in '99. He's been here for 25 years, technically illegally. It's a fucking crazy story, front to back. Like it's gonna be a Hulu documentary if everything comes out. Um, just today, Monday, as of recording this, I think they officially revoked his teaching license. Did he ever have that license in the first place? Who gave it to him? People are even unsure, like, if he actually went to the schools that he went to, if he has the degrees he says he has. It's wild. It is a fucking crazy story and just you know, I don't have any strong opinions of it. It's entertaining for me, but more so, it's just a prime example of how in the adult world, of which at this point in my life, 31 last week, first podcast recording, they'll have had my latest birthday of now being 31. I feel like we've transitioned to the adult era of my life, right? Finally, in my 30s. And you think that everything is figured out. You think that everything is so cut and clean. And like stuff happens for a reason. Everybody knows what they're doing. They don't. They don't. Adults are just fucking idiots too. And people don't do their jobs and they fuck up and the system is bad and everything is still bad as an adult. Like if you let it be, everything is still just as chaotic as it looks like it is when adults are just better at hiding it. When things are chaotic and shit goes wrong when you're a kid, it's very like forward facing because there's other people that are taking care of you who bring it to the forefront. You have people to answer to. Uh, It's the same shit in the adult world. No one knows what they're doing. Clearly, we're hiring people who don't have qualifications. People have felonies like this, and this is outside of just this individual situation. There's systems failing all over the place. We don't know how to fucking deal with crime or immigration. We don't know how to do shit. We don't know how to do shit. It's unbelievable. Fucking Charlie Kirk's being assassinated. Like shit is happening, and we're just like, and as all the other adults, this is why we move on so quickly is because fuck are we gonna do about it? I don't have any answers. I'm just trying to live my own life. So the world is literally a fucking comedy movie, and boy, what a time to be alive. Lastly, my running is going great. Even though I'm still feeling like a big boy. Like I am not lean right now. I have again, like I said, I've lost a little bit of weight, but I'm not lean. We're still over 200, easily over 200, which I kind of enjoy being that heavy still for a lot of the CrossFit stuff. Having that sort of energy storage and being able to eat that much that facilitates that weight to then have the energy to work out and do the stuff I need to do. Um, it doesn't make running any easier. I will, when I have gone into my longer half marathon marathon prep, which I've done 4 of those races, I believe. Um, inevitably, when you start doing that much running, you lose a lot of weight. I think I ran my oof, I think I ran one of my half marathons at right, like, in the low 180s and potentially was 179 at the end of it. That could have been the marathon I ran. Ran most the all of those other ones. Maybe last year I ran right at 190 for the half marathon I did with my brother, which potentially might be doing that one again this weekend when I saw my high school buddy who now lives in Ankeny. He said he is going to do the Dam to DSM next year. And his goal is to just go, like 155, 150, like 8.5 minute pace. Totally doable and wouldn't require that much training if I wanted to join him. And he was like, "Hey, you want to join me?" And I was like, "I think I'm in. I think I'm going to do that." So that could be on the horizon as far as next spring, early summer. But um, yeah, running's going good. I'm right at 202 to 205 pounds. Had a track, not a track workout, but a road workout yesterday. 1K, rest 4 minutes, 600 meters, rest 4 minutes, or 3 minutes, 300 meters, rest 4 minutes, and then a bunch of 100 or four 150 pickups. So, like a total of 2,500 meters hard. Um, Basically ran all of those at a 6:15 pace or faster, down into the fives, and even dipped into the high fours for some of those. So we're running the paces we need to run. It might be a stretch to run sub 6. Um, yeah, it might be a stretch to run sub 6, but I still think that I still think we have a decent shot of running a 5:59 mile when we go to test out in 3 to 4 weeks here. Um, we'll see. I believe we're starting week 8 of the running program tomorrow. Will be week 8, day 1. So we have 3 weeks left, basically 9 more workouts to get us in a spot where we could run 5:59. We'll see if that happens. I don't know if we can make it happen. We've got a shot. I ran 1K at a 6:15 pace to start that workout yesterday. And that was, I felt horrible. I was not in a good spot to do that workout yesterday. It was hot. I did it at the worst part of the day after a long weekend, bad eating, bad hydration, and I knew that I still had like 1,500 meters of running after that in interval form, and I was able to run 6:15 um, pace. So I just got to shave off about 15 seconds of pace there and hold it for 600 more meters. That's a lot. It's easier said than done, but I think we got a shot. Um, I will continue to run. I don't know what it looks like. Obviously, if I'm going to do that half marathon, I'm going to have to definitely continue to run next year. But I'm gonna have to, potentially do another running cycle, and I've got several programs that I can whip out to continue to bring down this running. Because again, I've only been when I started this cycle, I had not been running or doing any cardio for 3 plus months. So, as it continues to get cool here, I'm gonna continue to do some workouts, and I'm gonna run at least twice a week. I think one of them is always gonna be a slow zone 2. And then one of them will be an interval based sort of mile um sort of interval distance workout type thing. Like 400s, 800s, potentially as much as like a 3 or 4 1 mile repeats, but maybe never more than like probably 4 miles worth of interval work. And then on the slow day, try and get 5 to 6 miles slow in, and continue to maintain at least 10 to 15 miles a week of running. It's just too good for your fitness in general. Like that is going to end up helping my cardio and CrossFit. Um, Again, running is one of the better things that you can do. And part of the way I've been working out right now is I'm basically alternating every other day, running and lifting. And so I'm never doing 2 of those in a row. Saturday is a little bit different. Friday to Saturday, I do a pretty like extensive power workout as far as Olympic lifting and occasionally some skill stuff. And then Saturday, I will go into some more static power lifting strength stuff and do a Metcon. So I am backing up days there where there's a little bit of interference, but otherwise it's Monday lift, Tuesday run, Wednesday lift, Thursday run, Friday lift, Saturday a mix, Sunday run. And we're doing just enough to continue to get better. And we're doing a good job of just building the base and kind of just reestablishing fitness right now. The time is here because technically the Wadapalooza and the Fittest of the Coast qualifiers I think start next week. And I don't know if I'm going to be doing those or not. I might dabble. I'm not going to officially do them, I don't think, but I might dabble with the workouts and see where I'm at. Um, but we're in a good spot to build from. And with the season changing, I think I mentioned it last week. We'll go over it in detail maybe next week. I don't know. With the season changing for CrossFit again, back to quarterfinals. And now out of quarterfinals, they're going to take the top 2,000 out of quarterfinals to semifinals. It's almost a lock. I might be able to make semifinals right now with current fitness, with how many people they're going to take. So there's a good chance we're going to do open quarterfinals, semifinals next year. Um, we need to have that base and continue to work forward in that. So more to come. That's what life looks like right now. Hope y'all have a fantastic week. We'll talk next week. See you then.